China responds, though, by saying, all right, we're going to add 34% in retaliation. And then Trump goes, oh, yeah? We're going to add an additional 50% if you don't take that away. So I guess we'll find out, like tomorrow? Or no, today.
Yeah, it went through, I think. Right?
Did it?
Yeah. 104% right now total.
Sweet. So.
Best response ever.
I mean, just everything at Walmart will be 104% more expensive. So enjoy that.
Enjoy your chips.
Republican voters don't shop at Walmart. Welcome to Loaded Talk. I am your congressman, the third most popular candidate to ever be. I am Frank, and along with me, as always...
What's up, Planet Earth? I'm Bean.
He is the Bean-tastic, the Bean Frijole, the Bean Molio. Mole. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. Natalie's has a nice curry mole. I actually haven't even tried it. It might not even be nice.
That place is good.
That place is good. Lots of different cuisines. Marry the pepper. All right, so it is... still post-Liberation Day, and we are as liberated as ever.
I feel liberated.
Yeah. You think you're liberated? Feel these nipples. Yeah, so the tariffs, the trade war, the tariffs, however you want to call it, have definitely been driving the news and in multiple different ways, you know. One thing that has been pretty much confirmed at this point is there are a lot of MAGA influencer accounts on social media that are just as slimy as the lefty influencer accounts. And I don't know if they just got the idea after it came out, all the influencers getting paid by the Democrats and all that kind of stuff. Maybe it's always been there, but holy cow, it exists. And there's all these little, there's a few meme accounts and stuff that I follow. They're like, meme. Like some of them are like, I think one of them is like Thomas Sowell quotes and stuff like that. And all of a sudden you see stuff being posted, you go, what's that all about? What first started to tip me off was when they were talking about getting soda off of EBT. Soda, of course, should not be on EBT. And I don't think potato chips should be, or cookies. In fact, I thought it had to be bought. You had to buy fresh food with it. So did I tell you this when I was working at the Chevron in college? Maybe I've already said this. Whatever. The first couple times I rang up someone on EBT, they had chips, they had soda, they had ice cream, they had all this crap. And so I was like, I guess the computer will stop me if I'm not supposed to do this, And so I was like, shoot. And I was like, yep, that's fine. I was like, all right. It happened a couple of times. And so when my boss came in, I was just like, hey. I was like, are these things okay to purchase on EBT? I was like, yeah. I was like, ah. So they're impoverished, and we're going to give them worse than nothing. I mean, I guess calories are positive if you face starvation. So in that way, something's better than nothing. But these people weren't facing starvation, They'd buy the chips, ice cream, Coca-Cola on the EBT. And then they get the Swisher and the Smirnoff Ice and the whatever on the cash money. So they were doing fine. Anyway, when they first started talking about getting rid of soda on EBT, which once again seems like a no-brainer, all these MAGA accounts, all these right-wing accounts start coming out on Twitter and probably other places or on X and saying not allowing the purchase of sodas is an infringement on individual rights. That's so funny, Charlie.
This is quite the argument.
Yeah. And so and multiple people were claiming this. I saw one person say it. I'm like, that's stupid. And all of a sudden, everybody's saying it. It's like, this is not money. We're not saying you can't spend your money on it. We're saying you can't spend your money that's getting handed to you by the government. And we already have limits. I mean, not enough, but it's like, hey, you can't buy alcohol on EBT. You can't buy blunts on EBT. Because if it's a freedom infringement to say when you're on the government dole, we do have some limitations on what you can buy. If soda is so bad, it's like, okay, there's no way a blunt wrap is worse for you than a 2 liter of Coca-Cola. Worse, I mean, bad in different ways. Lungs. But same, how about even make it papers? Make it the rolling papers. Still lungs, but no tobacco involved. Which some of those blunt wraps, I wonder how much tobacco is really in there. But anyway, but Coca-Cola, Pepsi, all these things, it's not good. There's not a vitamin in there. It's not even like these fake like vitamin waters, where they go, hey, there's vitamins in there. It's like, which ones? They go, I don't know. We drowned it in sugar, but they're tasty. You go, yeah, right. When we got into the Cinevegas Film Festival, sponsored by Vitamin Waters and Smart Water, which was great because it was Vegas in the summertime. That's when 50 Cent was like one of the main.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought that was part of. He was an investor or something.
I don't know if I think at first a spokesperson. I don't know if he became an investor. I don't know. He doesn't plug it. He plugs everything. So I imagine if he still was, he'd be plugging it.
Oh no, he sold it. Yeah.
Oh,
he sold
okay.
the shares, I believe.
Probably a good call. They probably sold out to whoever and
Coca-Cola, I believe.
I was about to say, I think Coke owns them. Yeah, why not sell them? I don't know anybody in New York I need to talk to. But anyway, with that, I was like, oh, vitamin water, that sounds good. And, you're just sweating and stuff. At some point, I looked at the back of the bottle. I'm like, what the hell? This is just sugar juice. It's like vitamin in my ass. But anyway, but as all these prominent accounts, some meme-like, some... I don't want to use the word intelligentsia. That's giving a little bit too much cred. But that sort of thing, or as they're coming out and saying this, you go... I mean, that's just on the surface stupid. Like, it's not, and you're allowed to set limitations when you're giving free money to people for food. Because it's like, if you can't limit soda, why? I mean, what logic do you have to limit alcohol?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. A nice couple beers to the head. Maybe you're not so mad at the lady yapping all the time. Get all hopped up on sugar and caffeine, and you don't know what's coming to you. But anyway, so the MAGA influence circle has been coming out strong in favor of the tariffs, and I feel like we've tried to noodle through ways that the tariffs aren't horrible and stupid, as a thought exercise and trying to think double, as old Mr. Johnson might say. Because, you go, well, tariffs are bad. This is stupid. So you go, like, I don't know. At least with me, I go, how might I be wrong here? Like, how, let me.
Doing like a 5 whys almost.
Yeah, and I forget what that means.
It's like just when you have a problem and you're trying to solve it, you usually try to break it down to 5 whys. Why did this happen? And then why is that? Why is that why?
Oh, okay.
And then you just go down. Usually it takes 5.
Well, if you got a problem, I'll solve it. Get on the stage, watch the DJ revolve it. I use the Vanilla Ice tactic of solving problems. But so we've tried to at least discuss the possibility that this might turn out okay. Listen. I'm not making a sales pitch here. It's what we've done. We've talked about, like, maybe this happens, maybe. But the MAGA influencers are definitely getting paid to say the same message on tariffs, and I forget what it is. It's I think one of them is definitely, if tariffs are so bad, why has it not been bad that the other countries do tariffs on us? Something like that, And I think the answer to that obviously is tariffs hurt you in the country that initiates the tariff. It hurts those citizens, and then also the other citizens too. But it mainly hurts your own citizens because you raise the cost of goods on them. So, when someone else goes, hey, you can buy Levi's jeans, but instead of $50, which I hope they still are, because jeans are so damn expensive. It's like, yeah, it's going to cost you $80. You go, it doesn't affect me. Like, I don't care what you do. It doesn't affect me. Like, what you can buy in Germany or Australia or Japan, like how much it costs you, I don't care. It does not affect me. If I go to vacation over there, I'll be like, yeah, it's expensive. But I don't care what you do day to day. I mean, as long as you're not trying to like bomb us or something. Watching you, Japan. Watching you. Anyway, so that's what the MAGA accounts have been doing. And so I bring that up just because even after it kind of got pointed out, like what network they use for their funding and all that kind of stuff, like there's a network you can sign up for, old DC Drano, who I don't know if he's a Florida resident or if he just came down for a few, if he's down because he's like a Luna person or something. But he was down at a couple things that like I was like I had no idea who he is. I still don't really know, but he's prominent, you know. But like DC Drano and
Cat Turd.
Cat Turd is definitely part of it, unfortunately. I mean, as much as we all had our faith in Cat Turd, I think Cat Turd is selling us out.
Cat Turd's a turd.
I haven't been this disappointed until the Live Leak account. They just straight sold it to a porno chick. Were you following Live Leak on Instagram?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I used to frequent Live Leak just to see crazy stuff.
Well, and the website went away.
Yeah.
And so they had an Instagram account, and that was pretty fun, you know. And then they started like, the OnlyFans girls were giving money to advertise, whatever. And so you'd be like, what is this, you know? And it was always a clickbait looking like semi-news sort of thing, but it was always something porn related. And so people were like, I'm going to stop following. And then at some point, I was looking at my Instagram, and it was like the stories up top, you know? And I was like, what? How do I follow whatever her name is? I don't even know. But, you know, some clearly like slutty name, you know? And so I was like, who the hell is this? And I click to see who it is. And I was like, let's go back. And I'm like, what? And then it occurred to me, I'm like, this is Live Leak. Live Leak sold its account to a porn chick who wanted that many male followers. Just like those.
She basically just converted it, but utilized the following that was.
Yeah, you can switch the name like one time or something. And so she did. And then like she just inherited. Well, and that's the
smart investment.
Well, I mean, that's what the Krasinskis did. Those are the Democrat, the paid Democrat social media influencers. I'd like, once again, don't know who they are in the real world, but they have accounts with huge followers. But one of the Krasinski brothers, the way he got his followers is he approached a Taylor Swift fan account and bought it, and then switched it to his account real quick, and then used it for left-wing stuff. Now, luckily, Taylor's fans there's some lefties in there, but he gets to start off just right out of the gate with hundreds of thousands or 1 million people that like did not tune in to hear his thoughts, but now they're like, who's this guy? You know? So it's a neat idea. I wish I would have thought of it, and I wish I had the money to pull it off.
I never looked at social media like that to create just a bogus fan account that and just, you know, drum up enough users that somebody's interested in just the user base or the follower base. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And now you say it that way, I feel like that's what we should just do. We should just make a
hit category, just like Amazon did. Just hit categories.
Mm-hmm. Let's start an empire, Charlie. Let's get paid. Let's get paid.
Cat Turd. We're gonna do it.
We're doing a Cat Turd. We can do conflicting stuff. We can do pop people. We can do
conflicting stuff.
We can do
brilliant.
I mean, it's what the Russians do. It's like we should do like ultra conservative Christian stuff. We should do ultra left wing Satanist type stuff.
Like a Soros fan page.
Yeah, well, just like we gotta have our folders nicely defined, you know, so we don't accidentally post on the wrong one. But we should just do what the Russians do on Facebook and try and piss off each other.
Man, I thought I was smart. What are we doing here?
I don't know. Obviously not the right thing. Imagine tomorrow, like, we could even keep one. We'll just keep one and, like, just convert it. Be like, oh, look at Loaded Talk. It's got 15 million followers. And everyone's a Slavic language member of a hate group. They go, this is not what I like.
This is Loaded Talk.
It's like, what is this Loaded Talk? They talk American politics. I don't even like it. Anyway, yeah, we should do that.
Gears are turning now.
Gears are turning. I always wanted a sweatshop, and I think this is how we do it. Tiny little fingers make the best memes, Charlie. What was I saying? Okay, so yeah,
We're not getting shadow banned.
yeah, there's episodes where we go, I don't understand what's happening, but then there's episodes where we go, yeah, no, I kind of get it. But yeah, so all the cat turds and the Drainos and all that, they'll have this same thing. Tariffs are super American. It's a tax on other people. It's about manufacturing. It's about all this stuff. I don't know. It's American, the most American thing ever. And if it wasn't so good, why do other countries do it? And of course, you might say, well, if gun control isn't so good, why do other countries do it? How does that feel, America? I don't like gun control. I don't care what the other countries do. Pew, 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 Mm-hmm. So, all that to say, in any mental exercise where we're trying to noodle things through, because I do think there is, I would say this week, I'm feeling that it might really be more of a negotiating strategy than a permanence thing. Like we talked about last week, how do you convince, Taiwan? Well, and actually, what just popped in my head, how do you convince Taiwan people to build the factories over here if the tariffs are gone? But these Taiwanese companies that don't want to be gobbled up by China, they might go, especially if you're the CEO and the upper brass, you go at some point, China's taking Taiwan, But if we got factories in America and then this place and this place, before they invade, because odds are we'll get a little bit of a notice, we skedaddle. And so maybe we don't get to keep the company, but obviously the one that was established in the United States, China can't take that one. So maybe there is actually some motivation of being like, yo, they're going to get us. I mean, if you're in Taiwan, you have to know China is going to get you and no one can protect you. Like it's like if America said, yeah, we're taking the Dominican Republic. People go, you can't do that. It's like, who's going to stop us?
It's going to happen.
Yeah, like, what are you going to do? Like, it's right there off our shore. It's ours. We love the mamawana. It's something about the cat claws and that mamawana. All right. So, as of right now, I'm feeling optimistic, I guess. Ouch! Sorry. Smashed my toe, and I accidentally stepped on my own toe. Like I did when I was sleeping last night when I kicked my own heel. Sorry. Anyway, I did. I smashed my toe very badly. It's gross and it hurts. And everything hurts, Charlie. It's my feelings. Okay. Now that my eyes aren't watering, I literally stepped on my own toe and just the corner of it. Today, just a sagging electrical line from a little handheld shop vac, right? With this AC guy, and I held it and like had two ends of it, and so there's just a little loop, right? Loop just swung and just tapped my toe, but it just happened to be the exact right spot. And even though I'd kicked it into a stair earlier, like 20 minutes earlier, and I was like, oh, that hurt. There was no pain, like this tiny little electrical cable just going. I hate it. Okay, back to the news. All right, so this is an article, and I'm going to get to something kind of more abstract from here. Just some thoughts I had over the weekend on the matter. But what am I doing here? Website. All right. So this is just the news. It's called Art of the Tariff Deal. Dozens of foreign powers negotiate for free trade instead of retaliation. All right. So that list was multiple pages, hundreds of countries. Many politicians. Yeah. So Black Monday, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Don't care. Here we go. Countries from all over the world are talking to us. Tough but fair parameters are being set. Spoke to the Japanese prime minister this morning. He's sending a top team to negotiate, Trump posted. They have treated the U.S. very poorly on trade. They don't take our cars, but we take millions of theirs. Likewise, agriculture and many other things. It all has to change, but especially with China. In the meantime, Trump urged Americans to avoid being a panicking and to have patience with the market. I mean, the guy is a marketing genius.
Did he just have like a think tank group get together real quick?
It was probably like, are they Republicans? No, they're panicans. I mean,
Quickly get that down.
I mean, marketing genius. Like the number of things that he does that people go, all right, we're going to imitate that now. What is this? The United States has a chance to do something that should have been done decades ago. Don't be weak. Don't be stupid. Don't be a panicking. A new party based on weak and stupid people. Be strong, courageous, and patient, and greatness will be the result. So, obviously, if you have a strategy, don't tell everybody your strategy. Otherwise, everyone knows your strategy, and you can't use it against other people. So he's basically just like, hey, trust me, I'm working on something. Which, was wonderful. Let's see. At least some investors took advice as key indices defied predictions of a precipitous fall. They're really challenging my vocabulary here. Instead, dropped only by modest amounts. Dow Jones closed down 0.91%. NASDAQ rose 0.1%. S&P dropped 0.23%. Really, all not that bad, all considering. Even Bitcoin, as we talked about, like it dropped, it popped back up to about 80 yesterday, dropped again. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up back around 80 again. I want it higher than that. Let's see. So more than 50 countries have asked to is that supposed to be parlay? That's not how you spell parlay, is it? With an EY? Is that how it is in like Pirateville?
I'm trying to see where you're at.
The bold part in between the S&P.
No, that's Parley. Parlay is AY.
I know it isn't gambling. I imagine it is on the
Parlay.
C's when you're
Parley.
Maybe that's pronounced parlay. Maybe that's how you ask for like a parlay when you're Jack Sparrow and you want to talk to the parlay. All right. So a lot of people hit the airways talking about everything's awesome and they like it. All right. He said the tariffs imposed last week so far have spurred many countries to approach the administration to begin negotiations. Got a report once again, more than 50 countries have reached out to the president to begin negotiation. Anyway, they say it's good leverage for us. We so happy, he so good. Europe. Okay, so many nationals initially balked at the prospect of dropping the tariffs or making other concessions in response to American tariffs and immediately went into public outrage. That's what people do. At the same time, some early actors have offered generous agreements and may be poised to quickly conclude their trade disputes. After initially vowing to impose retaliatory tariffs of its own, the EU, the European Union, has quickly reversed course and publicly floated a proposal on Monday. We have offered 0 tariffs on industrial goods, as we have successfully done with so many other trading partners, because Europe is always ready for a good deal, so we keep it on the table. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said at a press conference. So she said industrial goods, which I guess is steel and coal.
I could lump everything into that, though.
Lump corn into it.
Industrial. It's an industry. I mean.
Yeah, that's true. And you can make ethanol out of it. All right. The EU currently tariffs several U.S. exports, including apparel, accessories, cotton, and T-shirts at 12%, which is kind of messed up. Vehicles at a 10%. And some Trump administration, blah, blah, blah. They're worried about the VAT, which I don't entirely know how it works, but I guess they have different taxes on imported goods that they can kind of work in there outside the tariffs, which is crazy. They hit the people twice. Oh, if it's not good, why do other countries do it? Do you want to be taxed 2 or 3 times on the same good? Come on. You're like, coming to the country, we tax it. Selling it to you, you tax. Well, I mean, we're already there. You're getting double tax, but throw a new tax on it because it's foreign. All right. Prime Minister of Japan says that they take it very seriously and they're going to negotiate. Maybe they're going to end up buying more liquid natural gas, cars, and agricultural processes. Israel, for their part, has moved to eliminate all tariffs on American goods, with old Bibi meeting with Trump on Monday. We might have some of that later. I recognize the position of the United States. It says, we're allowing other countries to put tariffs on us, but we don't put tariffs on them. And, I'm a free trade champion, and free trade has to be fair trade. I think that's basically the position that you've put forward, Mr. President. We're going to eliminate tariffs and rapidly. I ended up with the opportunity to speak with Secretary Lupin yesterday. We talked about how we could affect this quickly, and I hope to bring a solution very quickly. We're not talking about intentions. We're not talking about, just words. We're talking about results.
The fact that there were tariffs at all from Israel is ridiculous.
Keep going, son.
I mean, considering we've supplied the Iron Dome for years.
And they might say, well, we pay for that.
Well, but we didn't have to supply it.
Yeah. No, I know. And that's actually, this clip later is good, but it is something where you go, everything we do. And don't get me wrong. I think everything we do for Israel, there has been a quid pro quo. I mean, just could you imagine the Jewish nation of Israel and there's never been a quid pro quo? There's going to be a negotiation. I mean, obviously, you want some freebies and stuff like that, but we're going to go back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there's a lot of tech trade that goes on between
that's
the
true,
two countries, so maybe that's where it's been. But
maybe, and also maybe, I think we've been, like I was talking about last week, they're our very best friend. So when we want to do something gnarly, we call our very best friend. And so then let's say one of us is in a war that lasts for multiple years, maybe with Egypt and some other Arab nations. And then maybe they want help from the other one of us. And we say, well, we can't really do that. We just got to have Vietnam. Or wait. No, we ain't got no Vietnam. Anyway, we can't really do that. But I mean, I guess if Egypt attacked us or something, we'd have to respond, right? Yeah, that's right. And then our best friend in the world attacks our ship. That's a reconnaissance ship called the USS Liberty, and attacks it by air and by sea, in spite of it clearly flying an American flag and being labeled as an American ship. And kills a bunch of people and then attacks life rafts and all that. And then they go, hey, that was an accident. And we go, we know it was. You're good. We're good. We're all sorry. And then one of us goes, well, we'll pay a lot of money to the families of everyone we killed and hurt. And we said, cool. Or one of the people said, cool. So sometimes things like that happen where one of us attacks one of us and one of us dies. Maybe a president. Maybe a few towers. Awkward. Maybe. And, it could go in either direction on this one. But, and then maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Of all of the high-end leaders that have passed away.
I mean, I would say the world of intelligence definitely felt bold in the Kennedy era. And they'd gotten away with a lot. But then after that, they got away with more. And so there's that. I don't know what to do with that info, but it just seems like every time, let's just say you wanted to get involved with, shoot, is it 7 countries in 5 years or 5 countries in 7 years? I'm going to have to, anyway, dyslexia moment. But let's just say that you had this plan to take out the leaders of all these Arab nations, right? But you can't just invade them.
No.
That would be crazy. But if one of them attacked you, and then the other one may have supplied weapons because they were weapons of mass destruction, and he definitely was somehow friends with his bitter enemies, but they're both brown in the Middle East, so they're probably friends because they're Arab. Anyway, say these things pop up. I mean, who knows how they go? But it's just, I don't know. I'm getting distracted here. But yes,
There's 3 leaders in my head that I'm just like, I wonder if Israel was involved.
I mean, JFK, I'm going to say Jis. RFK, probably Jis. Who's the third?
Oh, no, I was going outside of the U.S.
Oh, with leaders who have fallen?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Gaddafi.
That's one.
Yeah,
Arafat. Another one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, when we think about Wesley Clark's whole thing that he talked about, how it got presented to him during the Bush years or something, but then he clarified later that it actually existed in the H.W. Bush years, and that they basically said, we're going to shelve this until after the election, but Slick Willie took the world by storm. They go, and so, like, after the total surprise of 9/11 happened, and after we decided just not to get bin Laden during the Clinton year, or Tora Bora, and anyway, after this total surprise happened to us, we go, well, we'll just have to go into Afghanistan and then Iraq. And then, we're looking at you, Syria and Libya. And at the end of it is Iran.
Yemen.
I don't think Yemen was ever an issue. But I'm trying to think of any of the other ones. It was Libya, Syria. I don't think Pakistan. Anyway, but you sit there and you go, all right, so at this point today, Iraq leadership as of the 90s has fallen, and we took them out. Afghanistan, we've kind of given it back, but they're odd. But like Libya, that leadership fell. Syria, that leadership just fell. And who are we threatening right now with war? I was like, Iran. It's like, damn, how'd that happen again? Like, just how's this keep happening? All right, well, to get back to tariffs.
Oops.
Yeah, no, it's just there's just too much when you just look at the questionable actions of our very own government. And then you look at, because the question comes up, what American would agree to do this, And you go, yeah, like American military, defend the country, take an oath and all that. You go, who would do that, And you go, well, maybe someone in the CIA. You go, or maybe you just call a friend. You just phone a friend. Maybe they like to dance. Maybe they like to dance after the towers fall. You phone a friend. But it's one of those things where it's like they're just too intertwined. That's just too squirrely. And like the fact that when we respond to certain things, the benefactor, I mean, we win in a lot of ways, but Israel wins in even more ways, Like, so I don't know. It seems squirrely, and yeah, they should not have been tariffing us. But I guess it's one of those things they go, we're gonna tell. Don't worry about it. 10% fine, whatever. All right, so China responds, though, by saying, all right, we're gonna add 34% in retaliation. And then Trump goes, oh, yeah, we're gonna add an additional 50% if you don't take that away. So I guess we'll find out, like tomorrow, or no, today. Yeah. So if at the end of the day today, China doesn't withdraw the 34% increase.
Yeah, it went through, I think. Right?
Did it?
Yeah. 104% right now total.
Sweet. So
Best response ever.
I mean, just everything at Walmart will be 104% more expensive. So enjoy that.
Enjoy your chips.
But Republican voters don't shop at Walmart. All right. So, whatever. All right. So, all this to say that some people are coming to the table, right? EU says they are. I guess 50 countries. They probably, I bet you, I wonder if they count all the EU nations and with the 50 countries, or if it's 50 countries and EU is considered a bloc. Either way, it appears because of this that they seem to be open to negotiation, that this is more of a negotiating like point of going like, okay, we're going to start at the same position or a more aggressive position than you're at. And like his tariff numbers, I don't know if we talked about this last week, but that chart he had did not actually list the tariffs on it. They go, this country charges us this tariff. As we saw with the EU, where it's like they've got different tariff rates. They had the whatever. They had 12% on apparel, accessories, cotton, and t-shirts, and 10% on vehicles. Right.
So were they average numbers?
No, what it looks like is that they took the trade deficit divided by U.S. exports, maybe, or maybe it was something like that. So they basically took trade deficit numbers and trade volume and came up with their own percentage. And so that's why like so many people got 10%. Because like some of the 10% people, maybe they have tariffs, maybe they don't. But it's like we need to solve this trade imbalance. And you go, what the hell are we wanting from Zimbabwe? Like I'm sure Zimbabwe would be happy to like unless they're implying that we get more from Zimbabwe than they get from us.
That doesn't make any sense.
It couldn't possibly be true. What the hell do you get from Zimbabwe?
What's their prime export?
I don't know. I feel like you should.
Chocolate? I know a lot of chocolate comes from Africa.
That is just racist.
Like actual chocolate.
Charlie, you're better than this. What is Zimbabwe's chief export?
Coca is what I mean. Coca.
Cacao?
Cacao. That's right.
I was like,
Not the other one.
They do the cocaine. Zimbabwe, the cocaine. Let's see what they got. They major trading partners are China, UAE, South Africa, Belgium, Hong Kong, Zambia, Netherlands. Not us. What the hell? Smaller percentage. Who cares? What do they export? Gems and precious metals. Oh, there you go.
Surprise, surprise.
Tobacco, nickel, salt, sulfur, stone, cement, and ores, iron, steel, minerals, cotton. Not a lot of cotton. Not a lot. All right, so it looks like metals, precious metals is what they got. Anyway, so it was all this kind of weird thing. So it seems the way he's negotiating isn't even totally about tariffs. When you see like Japan, and Japan was like, oh yeah, we can reduce some stuff. They go, maybe we'll also buy liquid natural gas from them. Maybe we'll also buy this from them. And so
now I get it. Okay.
So he's kind of going like, it's like, yeah, remove your tariffs, but also, what can I offer you? Because we buy all this stuff from you. What would you like to buy from us? And so it seems like this is the goal, which is kind of buy from us. We build up our industry and people get wealthy and all that kind of stuff. But it's like he's trying to encourage companies to build a manufacturing base here while encouraging foreign countries to buy from the manufacturing base, which is not the worst plan.
It's a reach, but
it depends how long the tariffs last. You know, it's one of those things. If these tariffs last if it lasts for 1 month, like even with me, like I'm getting the notices at like the flower shop about how they're going to do the tariffs and all this kind of stuff. Because Colombia and Ecuador got hit with 10%. So it's not the end of the world, but it's 10%. And of course, what am I going to do? I'm going to pass it on to the customer. I'm not going to eat that. But if it's like 1 month and it equals long-term purchases of this material or cars or whatever, then you go, well, I guess we'll have to see how that one shakes out, you know?
Like if there's a balance, like a volume versus the percentage of tariff?
Well, like if the tariffs go, like if the tariff is there as a threat and to get the tariff removed, like a country like Japan, let's say says, all right, we won't tariff. We will accept American cars without a tariff. And we will buy liquid natural gas from you, and we will buy this from you, and we will buy this from you. And so suddenly, like, not that I'm concerned about the trade deficit, but suddenly they're getting more from us, you know? And so obviously, the more people buy from us, the better it is for our economy, and you can hire more workers and all that. So, you know, if it is this kind of strong arm way of saying buy American, like to the entire globe, and the tariffs are short term, is just sort of a big stick, you know, then it might end up being not horrible. And once again, just to point out, typically tariffs are horrible. And if they stay in place, it's a bad thing. And it is a tax on people. And it's not good to tax your own people.
More than they already are.
Yeah. So, all right. This whole trade deficit thing, right? This is something I've had a hard time wrapping my head around because I go, what are we even talking about? You know, if you're good at making socks and I'm good at making pillows, you know, and you go, let me buy one of your pillows. I go, here you go. I go, hey, let me buy 12 of your socks. You go, here you go. I go, all right. Well, now I've bought 12 more socks from Charlie than he's bought pillows. But have I lost anything by that? You know, it's like what did I lose? I sold a pillow to a customer.
Well, it's also based on dollar value, though, right?
Well, I mean, sure, it could cost different stuff, but it's one of those things like if you're so good at making socks and I need socks, and because you're so good at it, the price is much cheaper. I can't make socks. And like because you know how to do it, I can get very good socks at a very good price. And I go, I'd like to spend my money on those socks instead of trying to figure out how to make them or from buying them from that dude down the street who is making them, who does not make them well. They are very expensive.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so it's like I haven't lost anything. I've gotten a good price. I've gotten a good product. And I go, well, I sell pillows. And you go, yeah, I would like one pillow. And I go, okay, here's your one pillow. Well, just because I might buy more socks from you because of wear and tear than a pillow, and because we have no regard for proper hygiene with pillows, myself included. But it's one of those things like, it's not like I expected you to come back every month for a pillow. I sold you a pillow, you know, and then I sold other people a pillow. Like, no one has lost in this equation. So I asked Grok. And I was like, let me get Grok pulled back up here. So I asked.
Grok should know that you want Grok.
I know. You know, Grok cannot make a good picture of me. I've been trying to make all sorts of stupid photos. I think I'm just not. I even uploaded I even like downloaded my profile picture, uploaded it, and basically was like, okay, so you seem to be, you know, like a white man with a beard and brown hair. It's like, cool. And then they post all these pictures. There's like Indian, Hispanic dudes. I mean, there's white dudes too, but I'm just like, why not just use my actual face from the photo? Just like pluck it out and just put it on anything you want, you know?
Mining the internet for other photos.
Yeah, it's wild. Like, I will create a new human. So you don't have to. I gave you a photo. Just do the stupid thing that I'm prompting you to do so I can...
Stop being dumb, AI.
Yeah, like I'm trying to send out a very stupid picture to people to make myself laugh, and you won't do it. All right. So I asked Grok, what's a good argument for a trade imbalance being a bad thing, right? All right. So Grok says... A solid argument for why a trade imbalance can be a bad thing is that it often signals underlying economic weakness that can screw over a country in the long run. Take a trade deficit, for example. When a nation imports way more than it exports, it's like living on a credit card. You're borrowing from the future to pay for stuff now. Over time, the debt piles up, and you're stuck owing foreign creditors who could start calling the shots if you can't pay up. Look at the U.S. Its trade deficit hit $68.9 billion in November alone. According to the latest data, that's a lot of cash flowing out, weakening the dollar and making it pricier to buy foreign goods down the line. Plus, guts domestic industry, steel towns, blah, blah, blah. But it can piss off your trading, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, well, why is it like a credit card, right? And so, let's see.
Well, because of like 30-day.
Well, so this is what Grok says. A credit card analogy comes down to how trade deficit messes with the nation's overall financial position, even if individual companies are trading cash for goods. When a U.S. company buys goods from, say, a Chinese firm, it pays cash. But if the U.S. as a whole is importing more than it's exporting, the total cash flowing out exceeds what's coming in. That gap doesn't just vanish. It's effectively financed by borrowing or selling off assets like a credit card. Here's a breakdown. When the U.S. runs a trade deficit, $68.9 billion in November, that extra money paid to foreign companies doesn't come back as exports. Instead, foreign entities end up with dollars. They might use those dollars to buy U.S. stuff, but if exports don't match imports, they often park the cash in U.S. assets like treasury bonds, stocks, or real estate. Hello, Chinese real estate. When they buy treasuries, the U.S. government is essentially borrowing from them to keep the economy humming. Let's see. When they buy, because they're buying debt.
Because they got to pay it back.
Yeah, that's debt piling up, not at the company level, but at the national level, U.S. owes more than the rest of the world is owed. Okay. So I did ask him, like, would Mises and Rothbard agree with this? And the Grok's like, no. They just say this is individual people and companies buying stuff. And, this is not a thing. Okay. So China alone. So I think at the moment, I think the strategy is to attempt to strong arm other countries into buying more U.S. goods while simultaneously trying to get people to build more stuff here. Okay, so I think that is a big part. Something that occurred to me is China. Well, I think China and EU are two big targets he has. I think EU is as simple as y'all are a bunch of bitches. I think at the end of the day, it's like your defense is NATO. NATO is basically us. Y'all, you talk about how you've got this and that you provide for your citizens. It's because you don't have to provide for your military budget. Mr. Donald Trump today says he's passing a $1 trillion defense budget. Trillion with a T, Charlie.
That's probably the subsidy for Boeing to build that new fighter jet.
And Doge has not gone through yet. It probably never will.
Wow, there's so much money.
I know.
That doesn't exist.
I know. Well, and I don't think he can just do that, though. Doesn't Congress has to approve this, right?
I would hope so, but does it even?
With this continuing resolutions, it might have already been approved.
Check.
Yeah, who knows? God. Anyway. All right. So with China, EU, I think, is one of those things where it's just like, know your place, little one, I think with China. So China, have you ever heard the concept of total war? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So that is what China believes in, is total war. And that means, of course you can go to war with your military. But if you're at war with a nation, you're not limited to military. Hackers, right? Use hackers.
Yeah, modern day, yep.
Yeah, use hackers. But also monetary things. China's known for loans that are predatory. So predatory loans, they've been doing it throughout Africa. They've been doing it in Greece. They've been doing it all over. And they go, we'll give you all the money you need. Like, what do you want? I'm like, how about more than that? Like, build some roads, build some stuff, build all sorts of things. And then they go, okay, sounds good. And they go, but you need to put up an asset or something. They go, yeah, I don't know. And then China's like, what about that lithium mine? Or what about that port? And they go, just don't worry, just pay back the loan. And it doesn't even matter. They go, all right. And of course, they give them so much money that they can never pay back. And oopsie doopsie, now China has a mine or a port or whatever, So in that front, China has been conquering chunks of the globe. No shots fired. They've been doing the contracts, legal beagle, no crimes, right? But they're slowly conquering ports and mines over the globe. If you think about who holds the most debt of the United States, that is China.
I'm so glad you're getting to this.
So much like old Grok suggested with the trade deficit, we've been sending lots of U.S. dollars there. They don't buy a lot from us, and they take those dollars and they put them into treasury bonds. And they manipulate their currency to keep their stuff cheap. So we keep buying it by the buttload. And so we send it over to them. And of course, say slaves and pseudo slaves and whatever. I mean, the people in charge are going to get fed. But you just take that cash, you roll it into buying up the debt, right? If China was to call for all of our debt tomorrow, we don't got it. We don't got it. I don't think we've been dumb enough to leverage things, but I don't know what the recourse is outside of war, because they go, hey, you owe us trillions of dollars, man. Like trillions of dollars. Maybe we need take California. And you go, get out of here, China. And they go, hey, we're going to take California, And so, I don't know the recourse that a country has against a country our size, but they've been going for it. When you look at one of the top real estate purchasers in the country outside of Bill Gates, it's China. Once again, using U.S. dollars to buy up farmland, especially next to military bases. They really like land next to military bases where they like to put these cranes on there.
Huh.
Yeah, it's just a crane. It's just a crane.
That's weird.
Yeah, but I mean, the crane has a communication technology on the top of it.
Huh.
It's not part of the crane because you can download the manual and see that. No, there's not a cell phone transmitter at the top of the crane, except for these. So China's been doing all these things, right? So I know this. Donald Trump knows this. So everyone goes, we're going to be at war with China in however many years. According to Total War, we're probably already at war with them. Trump took they took a blow by Trump taking the Panama Canal. Like, that was an attack on China. The tariffs, he's gone heavy on China. And granted, it's because China is a currency manipulator and all that kind of stuff. But if you think about who is trying to leverage the free market, largely speaking, free market trade and all that kind of free trade, which of course there's manipulation. Of course but largely speaking, the whole we'll make stuff cheap with slaves and you Americans can buy it on Temu and on Shein and on Amazon and on all the things. Oh, we've just been yeah, we love cheap stuff actually. And so it's one of those things, if you look in a classic free market, libertarian way, you go, kind of like I said earlier with the analogy, there's no danger here. They have something affordable, cheap even, and we have people that want to buy it. If not for it being so cheap, life would be worse for these people. And in China, if you are manipulating your currency, enslaving people, and you're happy to do all the evil dances to keep this discrepancy in place, you're going to keep stacking these dollars that you're going to use to buy debt and you're going to use to buy property in a way to try to conquer more of the globe, especially in America, without a shot fired, without looking like an aggressor, just going, hey, we had a deal. We had a deal, I thought. So I think part of this is this focus on ending this. And I think it is sort of a flank of a defense against the total war concept of China. I don't think it's by accident. I think a lot of these countries are thrown up there. I think a lot of them, especially the 10% nations, I don't think he really cares about. I think it's wanting to not look like it's a pointed attack. I think EU and China are the big ones. I think everybody else, he cares about, he wants to spur some, but I think he knew like the 50 that came to the table. I don't think anybody's surprised by these 50. They're just like, yeah, we'll work something out. Like, it'll be fine. I don't know how many were on there in total. I feel like it was maybe every nation. Who knows? I feel like the penguins in Antarctica will work something out. More fish, I think, maybe. But no, part of me does just go like, all right, so in this perpetual trade deficit with China, if we are strengthening their position to conquer and these massive tariffs weaken that position, because like historically speaking, right, China manipulates their currency. And I always go, well, that's bad policy. You artificial squash your dollar so that you can sell to America. But you're making your dollar weak on purpose. And so theoretically, we should buy as much as we can because every purchase theoretically takes a little bite out of you. If you're putting yourself in a weak position, if you sell like a loss leader, you should have a margin on it, maybe 20% or something like that, where you don't get a lot. But if your loss leader item that you sell, you have a negative 10% on, well, the worst thing in the world would be if everyone only bought that constantly. You'd lose 10% on every sale, and at some point it bites you in the butt. With China, we've kind of been seeing that. They've had some teetering economic times, big companies, big construction things, and where I go, well, it's catching up to them. It's catching up to them. But maybe they still have enough leverage, and that's the thing. Like, it's maybe still because of the number of dollars they hold, they still got that leverage, and the amount of cheap goods, they'll keep getting the dollars, and maybe that leverage is more valuable to them than the economy. Because this is a communist nation. They don't care about economics.
Yeah, like, I'm just playing the financial war in my head. If these 104% tariffs go through, we stop buying their products.
Yes.
All of a sudden, they're cash straps.
Right.
They're like, you know what? We don't want the interests on the bonds. We're calling them back. Give us our money. That's the counter. So how do you counter that counter? If you've already tariffed them, what's your next counter? Because they want to be paid. They don't care about the interest anymore. They just want their principal back.
Yeah. Well, that's a great point.
No,
that's a great point.
That's what I'm afraid of because they have so much treasury bonds.
They have so many. and that is the thing that could be the counter. You go like, look, we're just not sending any more dollars your way. Walmart goes, hey, look, no one wants to buy it at these prices. We're going to look at Bangladesh. We're going to look at India. So yeah, maybe that is China's counter is, all right, we're calling that debt. And I guess maybe you just go, like, if you're a Donald Trump type, you go, no.
I think that's the only option.
I mean, I think that's what you go, no, you can't. And like, we'd rather go to war with you. And then you just bet that.
Jesus.
You just bet that they are so, like, because when we're sending them money, they're clearly cash strapped and on the verge of economic failure. You go, all right, now, because, you can be in a losing position with enough cash flow to make something stretch, Like, you juggle the debt, you juggle this, you juggle that, but you got some cash flow in there and you juggle, It's the way of the small business of all this kind of stuff. And so you go, maybe you think like, all right, you're so like economically untenable. What if all of a sudden all that cash turns off Now what do you do? You know, like, do you still have? I mean, they've been buying gold like crazy too, so they do have a lot of gold. But I don't know. Maybe that's part of the calculus.
Maybe that's why he's trying to get these other countries to buy more from us, is to counter that. Because if they're buying more from us, they're buying less from China.
Maybe, depending on what the product is.
I mean, yeah.
You know?
But maybe that also helps. You know, the U.S. stops buying. So do all these other countries because they're buying from us now, which gives us cash that we can either pay the bonds back or no. And we just have cash.
Yeah. And that's, you know, really, if we could get out of debt, this really wouldn't be a problem. If we, you know, and we can't even balance it, but we don't need to balance the budget. We need to balance the budget and then subtract $1 trillion. And that's how you balance, because of the interest that we owe on the debt. We need to balance the budget minus $1 trillion. That's where we need to be, just to be treading water. You know, I think we should eliminate 2 trillion, maybe 3 trillion, and fire everybody. But that's just me.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. It's just me. It's just Charlie. But no, I just, on another way to think about the tariff thing, specifically with China, I do wonder how much of this is more about a global power struggle than it is about actual trade, an actual trade deficit. You know, like I think it's a literal trade war. I think it's a trade war, and that Trump and, you know, his administration, I think they're trying to figure out how do you take the legs out from under China, who seem unstoppable, because when you have totalitarian control, but you allow people to get rich to then be sucked up into your arms, you know, hey, get rich, but also now you're part of the government, you know. You allow that, you can have slaves whenever you want, maybe concentration camps whenever you want. Everyone kind of turns a blind eye because you make cheap stuff and people like Nikes and they like iPhones, and, you know, I don't know if Yeezys are made there. It would be funny to watch them screw up a swastika. I just assume Yeezys are going to have swastikas.
It's funny that you mentioned Nike, because they said that the tariffs, they're not going to move their manufacturing because it's not high enough to affect them.
Their margins are so huge. You can just tell the margins are huge.
That, like, they didn't even bat an eye. They're like, that's fine.
100% tariff. Whatever. We still have 7 million% margin on
We have
these.
3-year-olds making these.
Yeah. It's like next thing you say, oh, they got to be 8 to make them. We'll be all right. Just do it, guys. That's wild. Nike's like, yeah, that's fine. God, these margins are out of control. I'm not saying we need control on margins and price control kind of crud. Tariffs are kind of a form of price control. Throwing that out there. So I don't know. It's I'm not saying that it makes it okay, but I'm trying to think from a different perspective. If you're analyzing the global setup, you're looking at all the pieces on the board. Everybody says, we'll be at conflict with China in so many years. Whatever. People say these sorts of things, you know. But you go, I don't know. Like, how do you take the knees out from under China? This might be one of the ways. It's just like, you know, like I was talking last week. I go, you should not do this by forcing scarcity, but it would be better for like the soul of America if we could be, you know, just less consumer-y, you know, like buy things and appreciate them, you know, make them last. Don't be, don't be a throwaway culture. Yep. Like, you know, even when you buy stupid knickknacks, like hold them. Like if it's a knickknack that you want to keep up, well, I know some people will buy a knickknack at a store for cheap. Not those people.
Knickknack.
Oh, that's a good knickknack, though. Those aren't the people I was talking about. But some people like to buy, you know, decor. And they only want to keep it for 4 years until they want to repaint. They just throw it away. They go, who cares about that thing? I got it at TJ Maxx. I could be anybody, though. I could be talking about anybody. But but anyway. But no, if I think it'd be good for the soul of America and Americans to get back into a way where we're appreciative of what we have, not in some sort of, this is the last shirt I'll ever have, not that we need to pretend that we're starving in the Dust Bowl and, just whatever, but it's just, we've gotten to such abundance, that we don't care. We don't value purchasing stuff. We don't value any of the things we get, and so by getting back to appreciating things, just to the extent of, valuing that we spent our hard-earned money, which is basically our time. We spent our hard-earned time on something, and we would like it to last. Any way that we can reduce money going to China for cheap crap does help the conflict in America's favor without like wars and guns and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I wonder if Trump's thinking in these directions. I'm not saying that I agree necessarily that's the way you go, but if you're trying to do a nationwide pivot against a nation that you're in conflict with, and your quote unquote weakness is that we are free and we can do whatever the hell we want to. Tariffs are like the only tool that gets you there. It doesn't make me agree with them, but it makes me wonder if this is sort of one of the thoughts.
Like if you push prices to the point where people just can't even pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, they go, we just won't buy from China anymore. Now, of course, a lot of people depend on Walmart pricing for things. But to be honest, some people who are very dependent on Walmart pricing, who really don't have the income to be spending willy-nilly, they spend wild compared to me. Like, especially if they're on assistance, it seems like their kids got ones. It seems like their kids were named brands. My kid, he likes Pumas.
A good brand.
It's a good brand, but he likes it because they were the red shoes for like years and years when he would wear red shoes. And they had Pumas, so he likes the Puma because it's what he always bought. Other than that, he doesn't even know what brands are. He's like, I don't know, Old Navy. He goes, whatever's cheap. And I go, that's a good answer, kid. That's good.
I don't like rebuying things. I do research on things. I buy high quality stuff that's going to last so I don't have to buy it again.
I wear things when they continue to look bad. It's like buying high quality, but different.
Plus they're like worn in. They like fit you.
Yeah. And if they got a hole in it, whatever.
Ventilation.
Yeah. Don't look at my crotch. I don't care that there's a hole in the crotch of my pants. You shouldn't be looking there. But no, like it is frustrating when like things like, because like jeans, $50, and like when they fall apart or something, you go, already.
And they're not even jeans or like the jeans we used to have, at least.
I think it's an improvement. I do like the elastic material in the blue jeans.
Oh no, definitely. But I'm just saying, like the price has gone up, but it's not like denim.
Yeah. But I have pairs of denim, and then I have the elastic ones. They're so much better. And you do break in better. They get comfortable. All right, hold on. We'll hit something. Just a couple notes on this. Oil is at a 4-year low. Some people are saying that's going to be the end of the economy. I say it won't be.
Gas prices are still the same.
Well, it's futures market, so it should go down. So here, let's stop reading ahead. There's two I want to show. There is, I think it's probably this one. No, that's Gaza. Okay, so yeah, here we go. So old BB, which I gotta say, Charlie, for the longest time I was pretty indifferent on Israel. I was just like, I don't know, they seem all right. Like I like Jewish people, and then you'd be like, man. Fuck Bibi Netanyahu, that Zionist motherfucker. I'm like, damn, Charlie going hard. And I was like, I should look up what the word Zionist means because I've really only seen it out of like Nazi conspiracy people. I'm like, I don't know, it means something bad. And you look it up, you go, oh, okay, just nation state. Okay, that's not so bad. But yeah, you've been strong in opposition to this fella for much longer than I have. So here is old BB and Trump and JD and Mark. They might as well have a signal group going. So it's the signal group and old BB in the house, and they're about to ask about tariffs. Let's see.
Plan to reduce the tariffs that your government put on Israeli goods, 17%.
On where?
On Israeli goods, the 17%. Do you plan
Well,
you
we're
went to
talking
Anderson.
about a whole new trade. Maybe not. Maybe not. Don't forget, we help Israel a lot. You know,
Help
we
Israel
give
a
Israel
lot.
$4 billion a year. That's a lot.
$4 billion's a lot.
Congratulations, by the way. That's pretty good. But we give Israel billions of dollars a year. Billions.
So congratulations to
one of
BB.
the highest of, and we give a lot of countries money. You wouldn't believe if I said we give Afghanistan a lot of money, didn't it? Because that was a Biden deal, another Biden deal. Not only did he embarrass us with that, but they give them billions of dollars, Afghanistan, right?
Great.
So, but no, we take good care of our friends, and we don't take care of our enemies. We're not taking care of our enemies anymore, but we do take care of our friends.
So just something interesting about that is just that they go, hey, you're going to cut the tariffs on Israel, right? And he goes, I don't know, maybe not. Which, I got to say, is not an answer I would expect to see a U.S. president say in front of Bibi Netanyahu. You know? Netanyahu's like, you know?
Yeah, that's how I would be. I'd be like, wait, what?
Yeah. And he's like, he gets billions from us. Congratulations. Like, I mean, what are you going to do? Go all Zelensky on him? It's like, that's it. Israel gets nothing.
Storm out.
Yeah. He's like, whole thing's Palestine now. It's like, river to the sea. River to the sea. All right. So that is, I guess, just interesting in that at least he's taking that same sort of, I don't know, we'll see if the deal's good enough for me approach with Israel, which you don't see every day. People are making a big deal because he pulled out a seat for Netanyahu. He does that for other leaders. He did that with the leader of India. He seems to not care about doing it. He does that. I don't know. I don't know why he does that. I do that for, like, you know, my wife, or like, you know, but I don't know why you do it for another grown man.
I think it's a control tactic.
It is probably I don't know. It's in person. You know, his big thing is he's always very friendly with people in person.
Oh, like hosting. Like
Yeah, like he's very friendly. He can be combative and he can be very friendly, you know? And so, like, when he's trying to negotiate and the lines of communication are open, he's a great guy. You know, whether it's Putin, whether it's Little Rocket Man in North Korea, you know, like, he went from, like, Little Rocket Man to be like, listen, he's a good guy. He seems real nice. He likes me. I like him. We're going to talk, you know? And suddenly he's got nothing but good things to say. So it's like, come on in, have a seat, you know? So I think it's, you know, welcome.
fluffing.
It's a little bit of fluffing. Oops. Welcome to my web, said the spider to the
fluffing
fly.
as soon as they land.
Yeah. Good fluff. All right. So that was one. And then this is just for you, Charlie. So just because Gaza...
You don't even have to press play. I mean,
No.
just look at this.
I know, hold on. But, so Gaza, I am just at this point going to say that I'm going to put a trophy on my shelf for being right. After October 7th, I said, I don't know how this ends without the total destruction of one people or another. There is no Gaza. There is no Gaza. I don't know what they're going to do about it, but
There will be a new Gaza.
yeah, they're going to try and push them into Egypt and just force Egypt to take them. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know. What are you going to do? Push them all to the West Bank? Like, I mean, like it's something. There's something. So here's a little bit of a close-up on Bibi Netanyahu as Donald Trump discusses Gaza. If you're listening, It's ridiculous. You should find this clip. I don't know if this has been deceptively edited. I've not researched it to find out. It seems like the type of thing that could be, because this is ridiculous. Play.
Why would they want to return? The place has been hell. It's been one of the meanest,
Yeah, he's smirking. Look at that
places
smile growing his
on
face.
earth. And right
a happy
now,
man.
it's. I've seen every picture from every angle, better than if I were there. And nobody can live there. You can't live there. So if we can build, if we can, why would they want to return?
He doesn't change it at all.
He looked.
He has no remorse.
The way he was looking around, like when he starts looking around, I don't want to hit play, but like there's these certain angles where you go, like it's a look like if behind all the press there was your fly honey side piece that was just kind of like pulling her shirt down a little bit, and you're just like, all right, no one else sees this but me.
Like the W. Bush clip of him
on edibles. Yeah. Yeah, that kind of thing where you just go, I don't know what you're looking at or why you're so, but like, so either the edibles have just kicked in and he's talking to some gnomes out in the corner. Maybe there's some fly honeys that are just like, after this, I guess I don't
You're
know.
giving him credit, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This look he has is if something beyond the reporters is just one of those things you go, this is going to be good. You know, like just a girl holding up a sign like, I'm going to do this to you. You go, all right, I like that. You know, it's like, cool. And so that is the level of satisfaction on his face. Look at that guy. And he's just like, yep, we did that. And look, he just stays. He stays that happy. And like the whole time, which once again, maybe it's deceptively edited. Maybe by the time of this post, this is all BS and we've been tricked. But
Like the audio is just placed over this.
yeah, like this is from a different part of the meeting. That's very possible. It's still pretty funny. Even if this is not true, this is a hilarious edit, and whoever did it deserves credit. But it sure looks like he's pretty pleased with himself. And I think he's pretty pleased with himself. Imagine if you were the type of leader. Actually, it was even before his time. But I'm sure you agreed with it. But imagine in a leadership position, you would like to get your homie to help you take out all your pissed off neighbors. And that way, maybe you can stretch a little bit, or maybe you just put in your own puppet states. You know, whatever. So imagine you're that type of person. And you've been trying to convince them. And with some luck or some success here and there, it's just like, in this one, we did it all by ourselves. All we need you to say is, we done good. It's like, you done good. It's like, we done good. We did that. I don't know. He just, you know, they clearly have always wanted Hamas in place, so they don't have to do a two-state solution. Clearly, it's logical. You understand it. You know, if it was, when you see all these videos coming out of Palestinians having to leave Gaza with wheelbarrows and stuff, and they're chanting, you know, like F Gaza and all this, or F Hamas and all this, like they're pissed, and they should be. I mean, Hamas has lots and lots and lots of blame, right? If not for Hamas, they wouldn't be a carpet right now.
All right.
You know, but there were people in charge before Hamas, and there were two-state solutions proposed before Hamas. There was an agreement in place under Bill Clinton.
I think it's happened a couple times now.
I think it has. And it just never seems to happen. It just seems like it always falls apart because of bad guys, you know?
You mean that guy?
Oh, I don't know who. I don't know. It's just bad guys, you know? Just bad guys. I don't know. But, you know, terrorist attacks. And, yeah, we were going to do it, but these Hamas showed up. And Hezbollah. But, so I don't know. It's, really, I don't, at this point, you just go, as a Palestinian, right? If you're not gung-ho wanting to fight to the death for this little stretch of land, which I get it if you are, but if you're not, it's like, it's time to come up with plan Bs, you know?
You can come back of it, maybe, but
Probably not.
yeah.
I mean, you probably will not be able to come back.
When the resorts are built, you can come back.
Yeah, you can go to the resorts. Yeah, you can pay the visitor tax.
Right, exactly.
It's like, this sauna used to be Grammy's house? Yeah, hey, you owe a visitor tax on that. You can't just go in the sauna. That's $15 plus a visitor tax. Get out of Grammy's house. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you never get to come back.
You said dollars.
Mm-hmm. Well, was that an accident? What do they have over in Israel?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Shekels.
I don't know. Why don't I know this?
All right. We can't end on a question like
They use
this.
the dollar.
I don't know.
Maybe they do.
Let's see. What is the Israeli currency? Hooray, internet. We can just do this. Oh, my God. It's a shekel.
Oh, okay. Well done.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll be damned. It's a new shekel. It's called the Israeli new shekel. Yeah. Well, I guess I'm not making stupid jokes after all. All right. Well, I guess that's it. There's a momentary hope that this tariff thing is brief. It seems to be trending that way. Maybe the China one is a long-term one. Honestly, that would affect me the least, I feel like. I don't know that I don't go out of my way to not buy Chinese. I'm sure this and this and this are probably Chinese. But you know, I don't know, you know, I try to be careful with the food I buy. I love Chinese food, but that's New York style Chinese food. Anyway, so China might stay long term, but I don't know that it will negatively affect the most poor people, the people with the least money, will be most affected by Walmart prices going through the roof. I feel like India is already positioning to try to take that and be like, we will be the manufacturing base of the world. We have 1 billion people that are all looking to be in a better position than they are now. And old Modi likes him some Trumpy. So I think that's it. But anyway, if we find that all these tariffs start to fall by the wayside and only China hangs true, I think that'll be very telling. So that's it. I don't know. There was some theory in there, maybe a speckle of hope, maybe a shekel of hope, but
Well played.
thank you. But I don't know. This is just kind of where we are this week. I don't know what to say other than that. What do you got, Charlie? And that's how you inspire the masses, people. Follow us on Rumble, Twitter, YouTube, all the things. SoundCloud, or not SoundCloud, don't do it. Spotify. Charlie?
But
Yep.